Welcome to Signature TV News. I am Barry Kumo Ado. In the headlines, President Tinubu orders comprehensive review of governing boards of tertiary institutions. Kano Assembly passes bill dissolving 5 emirate councils. Labour Party tells Tinubu to give workers a living wage. On the foreign scene, Ukraine pleads for help as Russian airstrikes kill 7 in Kharkiv. And in sports, Enugu governor calls for more investment in infrastructure. Details shortly. President Bola Tinubu has directed a total and comprehensive review of the recently announced governing boards of tertiary institutions in Nigeria before the inauguration and retreat being planned for the nominees. The Federal Ministry of Education recently released names of nominees for chairmen, pro-chancellors and members of the boards and councils of universities, polytechnics and colleges of education, while the inauguration and retreat have been fixed for the 31st of May. According to a statement by Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the President has observed that the nominations did not reflect the federal character of the country, as some states got just 1 nomination while some others got many. He therefore directed a complete review of the list of members, assuring of his commitment to ensuring strict compliance with the principles of federal character as entrenched in the Constitution. The review, the statement explains, will also take into consideration national spread and ensure every part of the country is adequately represented. The Enugu state government says the idea to establish smart green schools in the 260 political wards of the state is aimed at training highly skilled manpower that will be globally competitive. This was announced by the State Governor, Peter Mba, at the 3rd International Conference of the Faculty of Education, Godfrey Okoye University, Thinkers Corner, Enugu, with the theme, Smart Green Schools Initiative, Repositioning Education for the 4th Industrial Revolution. Correspondent David Okoro was at the event and now reports.
Governor Peter Mba, who was represented by the Commissioner for Education, Professor Ndubeze Mba, said the Smart Green School initiative, when fully established, will be a beacon of excellence. The school, which he said will integrate skill acquisition and vocational programs to create a society of high-skilled workforce capable of fueling the economy and improving the standard of living of citizens. He said the experiential learning curriculum will involve the use of robots, digitals and technologies in the acquisition of knowledge.
The Smart Green School creates an ecosystem that ensures the delivery of a rigorous and inclusive curriculum within safe learning environments.
The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Christian Aneke, called for collective efforts by those in the teaching profession to focus on the impacts of the initiative and seize the opportunity to upgrade the standard of education.
Smart School solves all that. Teachers are going to be paid well. They have teachers' quarters. They have the facilities they need to do their work. They are going to be actually giving everything that will make them proud of their job. So it's not business as usual. It's not the old model at all. It is business as unusual.
The Dean, Faculty of Education, Professor Uche Agwaga, states that Smart Green School initiative has capacity to equip students ahead of the challenging job market by bringing out their innate potentials.
In this context, educators, policy makers, researchers, and industry leaders, as we work together to reposition education for the 4th Industrial Revolution.
Participants at the event appreciated the state government for the initiative, which they believe will bring about effective teaching and learning and raise potential leaders. They, however, advised the government to make the program affordable and accessible for both the rich and poor.
Will this thing not stratify the society more? Because those that can't enter these schools, how will they get the benefit of this smart education, which is very good in itself?
David Okoro for Signature TV News.
The Kano State House of Assembly has officially passed a bill dissolving all 5 emirate councils in the state. This bill was passed after it scaled through the second and third readings during Thursday's plenary following a deliberation on the House. The Deputy Speaker, Mohammed Botu, emphasized that repealing the law that divided the Kano Emirates into 5 separate entities would help revive the lost glory of Kano, saying the division of Kano Emirate into 5 reduced the capacity and dignity of the state at the national level. The Majority Leader, Lawandala, explained that with the amendment of the law, all 5 emirate councils were now abolished, while State Commissioner for Local Government will serve as the overseer. The House also adopted a motion to create a new second-class emirate council in the state, signaling a restructuring of the traditional institutions to better align with the state's cultural and administrative goals. Rivers State Governor Similaye Fubara has congratulated the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mohammed Sanusi, on his reinstatement as the 14th Emir of Kano. In a statement signed by his Chief Press Secretary, Nelson Chukwudi, Governor Fubara said he received the news of the reinstatement with great excitement, particularly coming at a time Sanusi is in the state to add impetus to his administration's initiative to reshape the economic trajectory of the state. He urged the Emir, Mohammed, to lead the over 50 million adherents of the Sufi order in Nigeria with love, wisdom, and courage, while bringing lasting peace, justice, equity, and fairness to all in the city of Kano. Fubara wished the Emir a successful and fruitful reign that will bring progress and prosperity to the people of the state. Security personnel have taken over the Cross River House of Assembly complex following Wednesday's impeachment of the Speaker, Albert Ayabem, to avert breakdown of law and order. The Speaker's removal resulted in a clash between his supporters and other members of the House. The State Commissioner of Police, Gyongom Grima, was cited in the midst of other security personnel around the Assembly complex. It will be recalled that the Speaker was impeached on Wednesday on grounds of alleged gross misconduct, high-handedness, and misappropriation of funds. Abuja residents to enjoy 2 months free train services from next week. Join us shortly. The Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has disclosed that the Abuja Light Rail will operate free for 2 months after its commissioning on Monday, the 27th of May 2024. Wike stated this during the ongoing ministerial sectoral update to mark the first year in office of President Bola Tinubu's administration held at Radio House in Abuja on Thursday. The minister will disclose that President Bola Tinubu will commission the Metro Rail project for commercial activities on Monday, stated that the services will be available to residents from Tuesday, the 28th of May. He said the FCT administration will begin the construction of 10,000 affordable housing units from 2025. The Labour Party has appealed to President Bola Tinubu to show compassion to Nigerian workers and give them a living wage. Deputy National Chairman of the party, Dr. Ayo Olorunfemi, who made the appeal during a media chat on Thursday in Lagos, urged Tinubu to show he cares for workers by fixing a minimum wage that reflects the country's present economic realities. He said the latest figure of 57,000 naira minimum wage being proposed by the federal government and the organized private sector cannot alleviate the sufferings of Nigerian workers. The organized labor, which had recently walked out on a tripartite committee on new minimum wage when the federal government proposed 48,000 as new wage, rejected the offer of 54,000 and 57,000 minimum wage offered by the government during the resumed national minimum wage negotiation. The national president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, Joe Ajero, had insisted on 615,000 naira as minimum wage, but later brought it down to 497,000 naira, saying the figure was arrived at after an analysis of the current economic situation and the needs of an average Nigerian family of 6. The Cross River government on Thursday donated 10 transformers to the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company to boost power supply in the state. The State Commissioner for Power and Renewable Energy, Eka Williams, who presented the transformers to the company in Calabar, said it was a concrete step towards ensuring increased electricity supply in the state. Williams noted that some local government areas in the state have been without electricity for over 8 years, highlighted the proactive approach of Governor Basio to his administration in expanding power supply to all corners of the state. He said that the initial phase of the project focused on delivering 10 transformers to enhance power generation in the metropolis, while efforts are underway to restore power supply to areas like Bakassi and Akankpa, among others. Regional Manager of PHED, Gabriel Modupe, said the collaboration between the government and the distribution company was a testament to a shared goal of improving the lives of Cross River residents. EU candidates arrive for main debate ahead of elections. Details and more after the break. Russia pounded Kharkiv with missiles on Thursday, killing 7 people inside a printing house, and President Volodymyr Zelensky chided Ukraine's Western allies for not providing enough military support to rebuff Russian attacks. Moscow's forces are increasingly hammering the northeastern regional capital, a city of 1.2 million, as they attempt to press a ground assault on the border region and stretch Ukrainian defenses on the eastern front. Authorities said Russia fired about 15 missiles on the cities of Kharkiv and Libnotin on Thursday, targeting mostly transport infrastructure and the printing house in Kharkiv, where officials said around 50 people were inside at the time of the strike. Smoke poured out of the structure, whose roof was torn open as exhausted rescue workers hauled bodies in plastic bags out of the building. Charred pages from books were scattered across the ground. Another 24 people were wounded in the attacks, the regional prosecutor's office said. It added that the missiles were launched from Russia's Belgorod region, which Russian forces used to launch their May 10 incursion. Leading candidates for the EU elections arrived at the European Parliament on Thursday to argue their ideas on the future of Europe in a live debate. Climate, migration and security are the main issues expected to be tackled. The debate, organized by the European Broadcasting Union, EBU, is taking place in the run-up to the EU election on June 6 to 9, when around 370 million voters will head to the polls across the 27 member states. For the first time, voters from capitals across the EU will directly pose their questions to candidates. The Palestinian death toll from the ongoing Israeli attacks in the Gaza Strip has risen to 35,709, while the number of injured now stands at 79,990. The local health authorities said in a press statement that the Israeli army has killed 62 Palestinians and wounded 138 others over the past 24 hours. The health authorities emphasized that many victims are still buried under debris, as it is hard for rescuers to reach them. Keir Starmer, leader of Britain's opposition Labour Party, kicked off his election campaign on Thursday, arguing that only his party can snap the country out of its economic and political malaise. Addressing supporters at the Gillian Football Club in Kent, Starmer promised that voting for Labour would mean a vote to stop the chaos and rebuild the country. Sunak, whose Conservative Party has trailed Labour by around 20 percentage points in opinion polls since he became Prime Minister in October 2022, shocked and angered many in his party when he gambled on a July 4th election, calling it months earlier than expected. Starmer, the country's former chief prosecutor, was pulled Labour's politics back to the centre ground after it lurched to the left under his predecessor, as vowed to bring stability and change to a disgruntled electorate. Join us after the break. The Enugu State Governor, Peter Mba, has called for the allocation of more resources for the development of sports in the country. Governor Mba made a call at a closing ceremony of a maiden edition of a National Council on Sports held in Enugu, southeast Nigeria. Correspondent Chinemerem Ikebunam was at the event and now reports.
Addressing the gathering, Governor Mba stated that the country has a lot to gain by promoting and encouraging sports at the grassroots and investing in the development of necessary infrastructure. He maintained that sports has the capacity to harness the energy of youth, which, if left untapped, could find expression in needless exuberance and various forms of crime.
The theme also speaks quite eloquently to other challenges, including the challenges of insecurity across the country, which have significantly impacted both social life and economic endeavor.
Mba maintained that time has come to take sports from just being a hobby for athletes to a profession and a business with high returns on investment.
We must move away decisively from the view of sports as merely recreational tool. In the leading economies, sports is a major business sector, yielding both jobs and financial returns to the larger economy. We must find a way to aspire to those same heights.
In his message on the occasion, President Bola Tinubu, who was represented by the Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Zafenaya Gisalo, assured that the present administration will put in place more modern facilities and ensure its maintenance and upgrade.
The development of sports infrastructure is crucial. In line with our renewable agenda, we must invest in the modern facility and ensure their maintenance and accessibility. Our athletes deserve the best training environment to compete at a high level and to bring glory to our nation.
The Minister of Sports Development, John Eno, announced Enugu State as the host of the 2026 National Sports Festival.
The governor has confided in me that in 2026, that there is no state in this country that is going to be competitive enough to host the National Sports Festival compared to this.
He paid tribute to the Enugu State government for the warm reception and hospitality accorded to participants and for being a great host for the first ever National Council on Sports.
When I visited the zonal office in Tinubu, and I was taken around by the Commissioner for Sports to the revamping of the stadium in Tinubu, to the revamping of the Games Village, to the many deals that this governor has already signed on sports progress and development, I found a man that was ready to support sports.
The Enugu State Commissioner for Youth and Sports Development, Lloyd Ekweremadu, expressed satisfaction with the successful completion of the conference, which he said is an indication of the priority placed on sports development in the state.
Governor Peter Mba has shown immense commitment to sports development in Enugu State. So perhaps these are some of the considerations that were given. I mean, you can talk about the ongoing rehabilitation of the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium, the commitment to rehabilitating the Ogu Games Village. You can talk about our recently just passed bill the Sports Development Fund bill. So many developments in the area of sports in Enugu State. So maybe these are the reasons why, they said, okay, let's give them the opportunity.
Some delegates present shared their views and opinions towards the council meeting and its impact to their individual states.
The Honorable Minister has assured us with all the achievement read out, there is political will on the part of Mr. President, that's Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that is ready, willing to bring sports development to the highest level in this country.
The governor said we should go back to the basics. In those old good days, sports is being done more in the school. We get our talents from the school. For us in Abia, we've already gone back to secondary schools.
The choice of Enugu State to host the first ever National Council on Sports appears to have been the right decision, going by the number of sports heroes and heroines that has been produced in the state over the years. In Enugu, Chinemerem Ikebunam for Signature TV News. Addressing...
Let's turn our attention to sports. Premier League side West Ham United said on Thursday that it's appointed former Spain and Real Madrid manager Julian Lopetegui as new head coach. Lopetegui, who previously coached Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League, will take charge of West Ham on July 1st and replaces David Moyes, who left the London club this month. West Ham finished ninth in the standings with 52 points and missed out on qualification for European football next season. The 57-year-old handler said his ambition is always to be better and better, to achieve more and bigger aims, and to encourage and improve the players and the team. Lopetegui, who was at Barcelona and Real Madrid as a player, but featured mostly for Logroñés and Rayo Vallecano, began coaching in Spain's youth setup before spells at Vallecano in the Spanish second tier and Portuguese club Porto. It was widely reported on Thursday that Burnley manager Vincent Kompany is in advanced talks to replace Thomas Tuchel as head coach of Bayern Munich. The former 38-year-old former Manchester City and Belgium captain has just suffered a tough season at Burnley, with the side finishing 19th in the Premier League and being relegated to the Championship. Tuchel is leaving Bayern, Bundesliga champions in the previous 11 seasons, after the club finished third in the Bundesliga behind Bayer Leverkusen and VfB Stuttgart, meaning the club will go without domestic or European silverware for the first time in more than a decade. That's our news this hour. I am Barikumo Ado. Thanks for joining us.